This one, if I remember rightly, is a little bit cheesy, but you know, it's history, and these two were great commentators, really, for terrestrial TV. Rest in peace to both of them, Harry Carpenter and Reg Gutteridge. Hope you enjoy, and thanks for coming to Fight Night TV.
Welcome to our classic Fight Night, a collection of some of the greatest fights of the century, and certainly some of the greatest fighters of the century. Now, Reggie and I, we've been working in the fight game for more than 40 years. Oddly enough, it's the first time we've ever actually worked together, and it's certainly the first time we've ever sat in the cinema side by side.
I'm looking forward to it, but don't even think about holding hands. We've seen thousands of fights, and this is the real cream of the crop.
Yes, we've been rooting around in the archives. We've come up with 12 of our personal favourites. They go something like this.
Way back in white days, there's the infamous battle between Jack Johnson and Jim Jeffries. Jack Dempsey's controversial long count fight with Gene Tunney, and the Welshman Tony Farr's brave attempt to take the world title from the great Joe Louis. We've also got another Brit, Randolph Turpin, in the amazing night he took the title from Sugar Ray Robinson, as well as two of the roughest, toughest fights in history, the middleweight wars between Rocky Graziano and Tony Zale and Marshall Sedan.
Back up to date, well, in colour anyway, we have Muhammad Ali's 1972 fight with ex-champ Floyd Patterson, Ali's first jaw-breaking fight with Ken Norton, the fabulous Rumble in the Jungle with George Foreman, and the thriller in Manila with Joe Frazier. And that's not all. We've Sugar Ray Leonard's great 15-rounder with the man with the hands of stone, Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler's toe-to-toe battle with Tommy Hearns, and their marvellous Marvin's super fight with Sugar Ray Leonard.
Quite a collection, and we're going to start with the greatest, Muhammad Ali. It's on the comeback trail, actually, for Ali. He'd lost on points to Joe Frazier for the World Championship, and now he's working his way back. He had several wins there, Ellis, Buster Mathis, George Chuvalo, and now he's up against the next champion, who at the time was the youngest heavyweight champion, Floyd Patterson.
Sync is slightly out,
at 37, he was going to have a go
like
at Madison Square Garden, September 1972.
I keep trying to fix it, but
okay, 17,000 at the Mecca of Madison Square Garden, and we're ready for commentator, American Howard Cosell.
Do apologise.
Patterson quick to take advantage of Ali there. And now it's no fluke. Patterson's making a good fight of this fight. If Ali's been playing around, he's in a position to be sorry. He seems listless. He hasn't used the ring. He has not been using his combinations effectively. And Patterson is absolutely unafraid of him. And Patterson is a man 37 going on 38, 30 pounds lighter. So give Floyd credit. One of the most popular men, I think, in the whole history of American sport, Floyd Patterson.
The youngest heavyweight champion up until Mike Tyson. And trained by Custy and Martin.
The end of the 5th round.
Look at this action from Patterson against whacking Ali on the chin. We both thought when Ali came out for this round that he was a different man. He looked sharper suddenly. But now it's Patterson in control once again.
Now we come to round 6. White shoes, Floyd Patterson the black. Ali was hurt. Patterson was hurt. Patterson was hurt right at the start.
Size difference from Patterson as well.
He was ready to go down. A quick left did it. Now Ali wants to punish him. You see it? They are right above us. Ali is after him. Now let's see if Floyd can get away. Floyd is fighting gamely. Patterson's left eye is swollen. Patterson is in trouble. His left eye is closing fast. He's swinging wildly with his own left, but missed. Coming after Ali, gamely. This crowd belongs to Floyd Patterson. His left eye is red. It is fiery red, but he is dead game. He is cut. Ali, for that brief first 40 seconds of this, the 6th round, his face tightened up. There showed a trace of absolute grimness about it, and he went after Floyd. Now Bundini is saying, don't stop, champ. Patterson was hurt again. Oh, Patterson's left eye is bleeding. The inside corner, just above it, can cause, when it's in that position, can cause the flow of blood to go into the eye and cause, of course, troubled sight at the very least. Doctors will have to take a look at that. Crowd yelled as Floyd got in a right, fighting desperately, courageously. Oh, a right uppercut by Ali. Oh, he's punishing him now. Mercani is watching this closely. Floyd, who's gone down so many times, refuses to go down before Ali. Floyd Patterson has not gone down, and he's been the most knockdown champion in history.
Great start.
Target practice by Ali is not connecting. He missed a lot of blows. He is not sharp, although he is punishing Patterson terribly in this round. The end of round 6.
Well, this is a terrible blow here for Patterson. I mean, he's really handicapped now, isn't he? I know that he said he's been knocked down more than any heavyweight in history, but he once reminded me he also got up more times than anybody in history. It's a very brave battle, Harry.
But you see, this is typical of what Muhammad Ali is about. This is what makes him such a fascinating fighter. 1 minute he's doing nothing, the next minute he's got in and he's turned, he's turned from a pussycat into a raging bull. This is what makes him such an interesting and such a great fighter.
And he can turn fights around like that,
oh,
can't
yeah. I mean,
really?
Patterson 1 moment is on top and now he's trying to save defeat.
That left flicking in like a snake's tongue. That left of Ali's. Patterson just swinging wildly. But still, Ali has not knocked Patterson down. A minute left in the 7th round. Ali's corner imploring Ali to knock him out. A right lead by Floyd. Got in there, but not strongly. That right got to Patterson's eye. That left by Floyd. What used to be his best punch, the left hook got in there. The left to Ali's nose. And Patterson fights on. Less than a half. Oh, now, the minute Patterson lands a blow, Ali punishes him. You don't like to see it. You really don't. That eye is bleeding again, badly. The doctors are going to have to look at that eye. Look at that left get in against it. It's just a mass of blood. The round is almost over, round 7. The end of round 7. The doctor's going into the ring now. They've got to look at that eye. The doctor is now consulting with Arthur McCanny, the referee. Are they going to let him come out? Are they going to? No. No, they're stopping the fight. They're stopping it for the protection of the lad himself.
Well, at least Patterson was able to go out with some professional pride, Harry, being on his feet. I'm delighted for him. I really am. I mean, if he's going to finish with the game now, as he should, that's the way to go out. Your heart goes with him. Was it not really Ali's vintage, was it?
I don't think it was. That's what people will say anyway. And when you think the advantages he had, 30 pounds in weight, much bigger man all round, I suppose it wasn't a vintage performance. On the other hand, when he saw his chance and got going, he did it very quickly. But no, I agree with you. Patterson was a very important part of fight history, and that was a good way to go. For our next fight, we're in Las Vegas for a cracking encounter between Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Thomas the Hitman Hearns for the undisputed world middleweight title. This was an amazing battle. It took place in 1985 between two men of sharply contrasting styles. There's Hagler, who's the all-action street fighter, who's tall and stylish, but with a dynamite punch. And at the time of this fight, both these men were world champions. Hearns was the light middleweight champion, and Hagler here is defending his middleweight crown.
I'm just cautioning you now. Obey my command at all times. Shake hands. Good luck to both of you. Let's go.
Very simple instructions.
And finally, it's Hagler against Hearns. Here we go. Round one. Hagler, right off the bat, attempting to get inside. He'd love to be able to pin Hearns on the ropes if he can.
A more aggressive start by Hagler. Look at him, right for the body. Marvin Hagler only wants the body, and he bangs Marvin. Oh, Hearns may have hurt him with the right hand.
Hearns with another right. Hearns hits him with an uppercut. Hagler is hurt. Hagler is stunned. Hearns got inside. Hit him with a right uppercut. Marvin ties him up.
Marvin Hagler is still hurt.
So it was Hagler coming out like a bullet. A good left by Hagler, but Hearns didn't flinch. Marvin going for the body. Wild first round.
Wow, what a shock. And it was Hagler who initiated it, not Thomas Hearns.
On a left by Hagler. Hearns comes back. Another right. That one stunned Hearns.
What a fight.
What a first minute of the fight.
Tommy Hearns has been able to drop that right hand in, and it has hurt Hagler, a surprise to many people.
Another right hand from Hearns. Hearns moving. Hagler still pursuing. Comes in with a right. Missing with a left hook.
Here's where I believe Hagler should turn to righty. He could block that right hand easier, and he would land his own left hook.
Another good right by Hearns.
Hagler is now shaking those right hands off, though, Al. He was stunned a little early, and he's normally a slow starter.
He's also bleeding. Hagler is cut. Hagler is cut. Bridge of the nose.
Oh, now he's pissed off.
Hagler hitting him low. He is banging the body well. He is taking shots to the head.
He blocks that right. Hearns tries to come in with the uppercut, and Hagler ties him up with a minute to go in a wild first round.
True humdinger.
Marvin with a good left hand.
There's blood all over Marvin Hagler's face. Can't tell where it's coming from.
I thought it started from the bridge of the nose originally, but blood all over the face of Hagler here in round one. But Hagler has him on the rope. Hagler working on him. Hagler relentless, but Hearns trying to box his way out. Half a minute to go in round one. How far can this one go? Not very far at this pace.
This is where Hagler wants him, but Hearns counterpunching off those ropes fairly effectively.
Tremendous first round. Hagler pinning him to the ropes, working on him, but Hearns uppercutting again. Hagler bloody. A tremendous, sensational first round as Hearns gets hurt.
They definitely weren't planning on going 12 rounds, were they?
Great first round. Wow. Incredible.
Perhaps one of the best in middleweight history.
And still could be one of the best in middleweight history.
I mean, even in replay, Harry, it still takes your breath away. It's the best first round I've ever seen, without doubt.
I've never seen a better one. It is amazing. I'm amazed, actually, that Hearns took these punches so well, because, you know, Hagler can take people out with these sort of things. Not only did Hearns take them, but he came fighting back. It took him a full minute, did you notice? It was a minute before Hearns realised where he was in the fight and started to get his legs moving properly.
I know I needed the minute's break because I'm fortunate enough to do this fight for ITV with Don Curry, and I tell you, I needed a break myself at the end of that round to try and get my breath back. Wonderful fight.
A wild first round. Hearns trying to box.
Gutteridge, he likes to repeat
slipping off the rope.
His little sayings over and over and over.
That right.
Gets a little annoying after a while, but that's his art.
They are yelling, keep boxing, Tommy, from his corner, and that looks like what he's going to try and do in this fight.
Hearns off balance. His foot was stepped on, not close to a knockdown.
Excuse me, Al. Hagler turns righty. I think this could be a key moment in this fight.
For the first time, Hagler switching, gets in with a left hand. This round sort of the way people anticipated the first round might go. Another right hand stuns Hearns. The crowd, of course, emphatic over every punch that's thrown. Hagler, despite that recent disadvantages, has been able to get into Hearns more so than I think most people expected.
For one simple reason, good left hook by Hagler. He took the best Hearns could offer, and he did come in. He's getting through that right hand, even though he's getting hit with it.
Halfway through round two.
He's leading with his left hand, which is
Hagler has fought most of this round as a righty.
He's going to be southpaw.
Southpaw and lands. Not as effective as a righty as I thought, but now as a southpaw, the jab lands well.
Tommy, though, fluid and moving.
Nowadays, southpaws are really common, but even back then, southpaws were quite rare.
And the blood begins to trickle down. Hagler working inside, now up top. Half a minute to go in round 2.
Oh, what a left.
Hearns trading with him. Hagler comes back to the right and left, and another right. He has Hearns in trouble on the ropes. Tommy trying to punch his way off the ropes. Hagler wants to keep him there, goes to the body.
Hagler throws low blows. Marvin Hagler wants to turn this into an alley war, and he's done it. Another low blow. Richard Steele may take points away soon, but will it matter?
Second round coming to an end. Hagler bloody, but very much unbound. End of round 2. Again, Stewart telling Hearns to box.
The craziest round in boxing, I think. One of them.
Street fight.
Well, he turns righty. He wants it to be a street fight. Listen, Marvin Hagler has been rough inside. He's thrown some low blows. He has thrown some elbows.
Don't push.
But you know what? Now the right is getting there, but it's not hurting Hagler. We've got our answer, I think, to some extent. Tommy has been hard-pressed to hurt him with that right. Stunned him early, but not in the last round or two.
Very early. Had him stunned, has him cut. But it was Hagler doing the damage in round 2.
Can Hagler get to him in this posture?
Some people thought, as he again becomes off balance, some thought that if Hearns stayed outside and stayed on his bicycle, it would become a dull fight with Marvin chasing him.
But Marvin has been able to corner him, and when Marvin gets him in the corner, he is roughhousing him well.
Again, Hagler is all bloodied. Time is called by Richard Steele to send Hagler over to the ring doctor. He's calling the ring doctor in. Of course, the last thing in the world Hagler wants is the fight to be stopped. The doctor looks at it. Back comes Hagler with a wild left hand. It has to be impeding his vision with the right eye. You never know it, though. Tremendous right. Hearns appears rubbery. He appeared that way in the second round.
You know, Richard Steele is breaking these fighters very quickly. That's uncharacteristic of him. It's hurting Hagler because he wants to work inside. Hearns is smiling, but he's taking shots.
Another right hand. Hearns turns his back, takes another right. Hearns in deep trouble again. Hearns is down. Hearns is down in the third round and on his back. And he's not going to beat the count. I don't believe. Tommy Hearns tries to get up, and
They've got to stop this fight.
Does he get up? He just doesn't know. He can't continue. It's Hagler, full of blood. Blood, no doubt, impeding his vision. Stopping him in the third round after Hearns almost ended it on a first-round knockout. It didn't go very far, but it was a beauty.
You will never, ever see a more breathtaking 3 rounds than that. You know, Reggie Hagler's great fight slogan was always destruct and destroy. He demonstrated it there.
It's war. There was a point in that fight there when the referee was looking at him with the cut, and he said to him, "Can you see all right?" And I could clearly hear Hagler say, "I'm not missing him, am I?" I thought that was just weighed him up. He's got to be one of the all-time great middleweights. He stayed at the same weight all his career as well, which is good, and with the same trainers and managers. You know, that sums up the guy. And I remember saying at the time when Hearns was stumbling around the ring like that, it reminded me of a baby giraffe going for his first move.
What's that story about the pizza a couple of days after the fight?
Hagler did a commercial. He made a commercial, didn't he? And then they said, "And what do you think the other fella's eating?" And he says, "Probably soup." We're back to the Roaring '20s. Could Jack Dempsey regain the world heavyweight crown from Gene Tunney? This was really a serious fight.
This is the most controversial fight of the whole of the 1920s. And you have to know a little bit about the background. The year before, 1926, Dempsey and Tunney, Dempsey was then the champion, had met over 10 rounds in Philadelphia. And against all expectations, Tunney had beaten him on points. Now this upset the American public because Dempsey was the great national hero. He was the rags to riches man. He'd started life as a hobo out in the Wild West. He'd had saloon bar brawls for $2 a time, believe it or not. And he got from town to town by
Reggie's thinking, why call
riding the rods, which is illegal rides on the freight trains. So, you know, he'd made his way up from nothing. Great hero. Now Tunney was totally different. Here was a rather bookish individual, a man who liked to box his way out of trouble, wasn't an attacker, educated man, mixed with the upper crust in New York society. He was an ex-Marine, but he didn't have the public's approval like Dempsey had. So now, everybody wants Dempsey to get the title back, and most people believe he's going to get it back. So it is an extraordinary deal.
It certainly was, and Tunney, though, got the serious money. Can you imagine, back in 1927, $1 million, and 100,000 people crammed into the Soldiers Field at Chicago for this, well, unbelievable event.
There was a story going around just before this fight that Al Capone had put down $45,000 on Dempsey to win. And Dempsey got to hear of this and got worried because he thought Capone was going to make some sort of illegal move to, queer the pitch, do something about, do something wrong. So he actually sent a note to Capone saying he'd heard he was having a big bet and would he please just lay off and let us have a good fight without any trouble.
A good honest fight and get well paid.
He didn't get a reply from Capone, but 2 days later there was a $200 bunch of flowers arrived at the Dempsey's apartment addressed to Estelle Taylor, who was Dempsey's film star wife, and there was just a little card attached to it, and it said, "To the Dempseys for a sporting fight."
Yes, I can just imagine Al Capone sending that to one way or another. Now that was
round
better.
6, you see, he's opening up a bit
Yeah.
now.
Wearing a horse
That
head.
time too, I think his supporters would be saying. But it doesn't worry Tunney too much, does it? He's a very competent, he knows what he's doing, Tunney. He's well within himself all the time, controlled fighter, very clever defensive boxer. That's why people didn't like him too much, because he was a defensive boxer. Tunney's making Dempsey miss all the time, so he's going backwards. They're doing the scoring, in my opinion.
Obviously can't know whether the referee's calling, it's all actions there. He doesn't bother to shout at them too much from what we can see, we can't hear it.
End of round 6.
Well, on the replay, Harry, he's still trying to bustle his way in and get his head down here, Dempsey, but as you've been saying, he's such a good, smart boxer, Tunney. There's very little infighting of any sort, really. It's been pretty even for the first 6 rounds. Maybe Tunney's a little in front, we don't know. But coming up for round 7, watch for something very unusual.
Reggie, this remains, even after what, more than 70 years, one of the most controversial rounds in the whole history of boxing. And in a moment or two, we'll see why. As you say, Tunney is getting aggressive, and that might just be his undoing here.
Hands low, though, nice and loose all the time, I'll say that for him. He's not a tightened up boxer by any means, he's nice and loose. Dempsey tucking and diving there, just dying to land that pot shot, isn't he? That right hand over the top. There it is.
That's the
it's
one.
coming. Oh,
And he wasn't prepared for that, was
he's
he?
down. What a battery of punches that is.
Now watch where Dempsey goes. He should go to a neutral corner, which they agreed on before the fight, but he doesn't. And while he's being ushered away, 5 seconds have gone by, and then the referee picks up the count at 1.
Which is quite right, he should do.
That's right. And then Tunney, I think he's in command of his senses. He very sensibly takes the full 9, but he's actually had 14 seconds. The battle of the long count.
Absolutely. Well, the referee was 100% with me there.
Oh, he was right. Dempsey was at fault. I mean, he knew what the rule was. He had to go to a neutral corner. Didn't do it.
And that's
he said, I just wanted to get on with the
rule,
fight.
though, at that
as soon as he got
time.
up, I wanted to knock him down
Up
again.
until
Yeah, sure.
then, that wasn't a rule.
See, always trying to land that
you
one
didn't
all
even-
over
you
again.
didn't even have to go back to
pretty
corner.
desperate there. I think he's a
You
bit
could just
behind
wait for the
from
ref
what
to
we've
stop
seen,
counting
really.
and then start pounding. So
Yeah, he's had the
it was
man
a new
down.
rule, and that's the way
Jack
it was.
was always thought to be a good finisher. Dempsey actually said before the fight, I'm going to knock this big bookworm out inside 8 rounds.
Way ahead of Ali there, he'd have been, wouldn't he, naming the round?
Those are good punches. And
Oh,
for once,
that left
Tunney
hook
couldn't get out
starts
of the
it,
way,
yeah,
could he?
No, started it with those left hooks, and that right hand finished it almost on the cheek there, either the temple.
Just keep your eyes on Dempsey, because this is what stopped the referee picking up the count when it should have been picked up. You're supposed to go to a neutral corner, get there. You still won't pick it up. Dempsey just wanted to get on with the job.
Yeah.
Completely forgotten what he'd agreed to go to a neutral corner. Meanwhile, Tunney's having precious seconds to recover, and 5 have gone by before 1 starts. He came out of this fight, Dempsey, with more popularity than ever before, because, people sort of said, oh, well, he would have won if only,
Yeah,
had it
sure.
not been for the long count.
That often happens when a hero loser becomes the hero. Oh, it's a good finish by Tunney.
Terrific.
Yeah.
All
There you
over?
are, yep, they're hesitating, getting in the ring. There's none of this diving in the ring and making a carnival of it, is it? There it is.
Yeah.
He's won it all right there, no doubt. He also married a millionaire.
Yes, he
too.
did. Mr. Tunney knew what he was up to.
And his son became a US senator.
Right.
So, the old fight game's not too bad after all, is it, one way or another?
Humouring each other, aren't they?
Now, it's been said, and I agree, that pound for pound, Sugar Ray Robinson is the greatest fighter the world has ever seen. He'd been unbeaten for 8 years when he arrived in London to take on Randolph Turpin in defence of his middleweight championship.
I
of the
love
world.
Randy Turpin.
Back in 1951, there was very little going on just after the war, and Robinson and Turpin was going to be a real biggie, because Robinson had had 101 wins and only one loss, and that was to Jake LaMotta, whom he'd beaten 5 other times. He'd also had 6 fights in Europe, and well, we thought it might be a little bit of a carnival for him, that he may not be really taking Turpin seriously, but we soon found out he just may have been wrong about that.
When he arrived in London, Robinson was a 7-2 on favourite. Now, the story went that the night before the fight with Turpin, he was up late playing cards at the Star and Garter, the pub in Windsor, where he'd set up camp. And we're told, at that same time, Randolph Turpin was fast asleep. Well, if all that is true, then Sugar Ray Robinson might just have had second thoughts about his preparation when he climbed through the ropes at Earl's Court in London and heard 18,000 voices baying for his blood. Jim Powers is your guide.
This is the opening round, and this is the round, of course, when the spectators as well as the boxers have a chance to study styles. This is a brilliant audience here. Half of Burke's peerage is on hand. Movie stars, big politicians, and of course the rank and file fans, all wedged into the hall here, watching Randolph Turpin with his back to us. He has a white stripe down his trunks and the initials R.A.T. that can be seen there in the lower right. Turpin is far from the overly impressed rookie. He's in here with the greatest fighter, pound for pound, the ring has ever seen, and he's acting as if he's the boss and he knows it. Beautiful right and a left hook staggered Robinson. He came back on his heels then. That was a stiff punch. Those are the punches in close that Robinson had a great deal of trouble smothering. A brilliant champion, Robinson, but up against a very unorthodox boxer.
As we watch this slow motion, Harry, Robinson's also discovered here that he's so strong inside Turpin like that, isn't he? Yet the odds were 7-2 on Robinson winning, wasn't it? And I think 33-1 against Turpin winning on points. I mean, it was a massive betting.
You and I were young reporters when all this happened, but I can remember watching Turpin.
You were a bit younger than me at the time, actually.
I can remember watching those early Turpin fights. I mean, it was thrilling. He could take people out with either hand. I used to sit there waiting for what we used to call the lightning strike. It could come from the left or the right. And suddenly the opponent was flat out and counted out. Now, Robinson must have known about that because the record was there for everybody to see. So he had a few things to think about.
Ray has taken quite a beating here, but he's gallantly fighting back. At the heart of a real champion, he's trying that right uppercut again. Turpin fights 3 minutes out of every round, no stalling. Still pressing relentlessly. That hurt. Sometimes the face tells the story. Let's study Ray's.
There was a great expectancy, wasn't there, among the crowd? When is Robinson going to do it? When is he really going to do it?
I sat there thinking, sooner or later he's going to turn the match.
Yeah, we
well,
all
I mean,
did.
Nobody really thought Turpin could win. We were all sat there amazed at the things that was happening. The only man who actually thought Turpin could win was my dad. And he told me Turpin's going to beat this guy. And I said, no, Turpin's 7-2 against. So the old man said, do you want to loan me £7 and like a fool, I did. I couldn't afford £7 at the time.
Well, he was a better judge than you then,
Always
wasn't he?
was.
So was my dad, I promise you.
Now, this was where Ray was really hurt. Ray said later he thought he was going out. He was hurt and staggered.
You know, we're looking at 2 known punchers, and there hasn't been a knockdown in the entire contest, but at this point, Harry, you'll recall, the public were actually starting to sing for He's a Jolly Good Fellow. Never been before or since. So we knew who was going to win it, but the radio lads at the time were a little bit confused.
There was a terrible row after this fight because the guys doing the radio commentary were Raymond Glendenning, very famous commentator in his day, and the inter-round stuff was being done by W. Barrington Dalby, who was a first-class referee, incidentally.
We both knew quite well, actually.
Yeah. And at the end of this 14th round we've just seen, Barrington Dalby came up and said he thought that if Turpin had a good last round, he might snatch the title. That created a tremendous row. And Barry was actually, if you can believe this, he was made to go into Sports Report on the Saturday and explain himself. And he then said, well, I didn't really mean to say snatch, I meant to say clinch. It was all rather sad, I thought.
Yeah, people are still talking about that, the real fight fans.
And here they are coming down to the wire now in Earl's Court in London with the middleweight championship of the world at stake. It's a terrifically dramatic moment in a great fight. It's a great champion in there. That's no lug. That's Sugar Ray Robinson against a fine young English boy, Randy Turpin. Ray still pounding away right down to the final second. His face bleeding, his head groggy. Outmaneuvered, outscored, and there he is still rapping away at the body. His one hope is a knockout punch, perhaps a cut eye, anything to win. And Turpin, of course, isn't stalling to this extent that he backs up until he gets Ray off balance and then moves in. That's where Turpin scored many a point. Infighting, and the clinches, and it's over. There they are. They put their arms around each other. Sugar Ray Robinson being escorted to his corner by Randolph Turpin. That certainly was one of the greatest fights of modern times, and it's certainly, there's the new champion. It's certainly one of the best I've ever seen as a sports writer. Both boxers deserve praise. Both were great fighters and great sportsmen.
64 days later, of course, the return fight, which was always inevitable, I suppose, and Robinson won that. That was stopped really. I agreed with the referee on that. There was arguments about should he have stopped it, the referee in America, but I thought he was right. And Robinson, 10th round, got his championship back.
Right.
And then, of course, the sad end, really, for both of them, you know, virtually penniless. Robinson had Alzheimer's disease at the end, and Randy Turpin, that sad thing about committing suicide, you know, in Leamington.
But none of that can take away the fact that that was a memorable night. And anybody who was there, and that goes for both of us, anybody who was there will never, ever forget those closing moments and all those people standing up and singing, for he's a jolly good fella.
And now, let's get ready to rumble!
Okay, we're back with Muhammad Ali, 1973, and he's looking for another fight, and he's chose a relatively unknown called Ken Norton. He hoped that this would be a routine warm-up fight, but it didn't turn out that way.
Norton's record up to this point, there were no real names on it. In fact, in the fight immediately before the one we're going to see, Norton had fought a man called Charlie Reno in San Diego, same place, in front of 700 people, and he was paid $300. Now suddenly he's going to get 50 grand for this fight. But a couple of little pointers, I think, that he wasn't going to be quite the pushover. For one thing, he had Eddie Futch in his corner, great trainer, who was always in the corner with Joe Frazier. And of course, Norton had done a lot of sparring with Joe Frazier, so he must have known his way around. Actually, the whole thing is a bit like Rocky, but for real.
Okay, the action for round two. It's set to 12. Round one, Ken Norton coming out. That's him in the dark trunks, going after the former champion, letting him know, as you said, Ferdy, that he is come to fight.
And Ali would like to end this early. He sees a very, very muscled up and really tough customer in front of him. He'd like to get out of here early. He threw at the very end of that round some meaningful lefts and rights, but it did not appear to faze Norton. Norton just took them and went calmly back to his corner. He's back out.
Oh, good left. Great left to the chin of Ali.
Great left. Caught him with his mouth. Just when he was talking, he got hit just then. You keep talking, you're going to get hit while you're talking.
Two good jabs, one straight right through the glove. Another and a good right to the another good right. Followed with a left and another good right. Very aggressive and scoring many points here in combinations is Ken Norton. And Ali perhaps wondering maybe at this point early in the fight in round 2 that what have I got here? I've got my hands full.
Ali's position there is one, that's what he's trying to do, throw that right hand. When you see Ali cock like that and stand still, he's looking to throw a right hand lead, and he just threw it then.
Well, lots of action here from the San Diego Sports Arena. It's scheduled for 12.
As you pointed out, Bob, the way he leans over negates the right. See the way he's leaning over, then you can't land a right hand. He just keeps leaning over away from it.
Plus the fact that when you're trying to land that left hand, that right hand, he's continually got that left in your face, and he's got a tremendous reach, as you can see. Ken Norton does. A little shorter than Ali, but in reach perhaps is effective.
Good right hand.
And a good left by Ali. Another good left by Ali puts the fans out of their seats at San Diego.
This is heating up. A good exchange of right hands. Ali looking to counter his left jab with a right hand over.
Oh, and a great right by Norton to the jaw of the ex-champion Muhammad Ali.
He's got him back in his corner. An uppercut between the raised gloves. Ali talking to him. Put his hand behind his head, which is illegal. Talking to him.
Bertie, you had lots to say there in the corner. What was it about?
A lot of concern about his jaw. It was hurting him. He could move it with his tongue. There's a possibility of a fracture. And now we look at the punch that might have done it. There's a right hand, hits Ali right in mid-adjective. Ali driven back into the ropes as Norton follows up his advantage with a tremendous left hook to the kidneys. Round 10.
It's scheduled for 12, Ferdy, and it looks like at this point that it's probably going to go the distance for the North American Heavyweight Championship. It's in San Diego Sports Arena. It's been pretty much of what you're seeing. Ali back, dancing a little bit. Norton crouched down, right foot planted, coming on relentlessly, sensing perhaps an upset, as do the better than 11,000 in attendance in San Diego. What appears to be certainly a monumental upset in heavyweight division.
Ken Norton has fought like this from the opening bell. He hasn't been scared. He hasn't been cautious. Oh, what a miss!
Oh,
and he comes back.
Hits him with the right.
He comes back with the right hand.
Takes a left from Ali.
Now they're exchanged. Now it's Ali's chance. If Ali ever had a chance, it's now. And Ali instead is talking to him. Instead of punching toe-to-toe, he started to talk to him.
Well, he better stop talking, Ferdy, and he better start doing more punching, because that's an aggressive, overconfident, very confident. Perhaps overconfidence is an understatement on Ken Norton's part at this point.
Ken Norton is willing to trade with him, willing to go toe-to-toe. Ali is trying to land something hard this round, and he has landed that with a good right hand by Ali, but it doesn't seem to bother Ken Norton at all. Ken is right back in there.
You mentioned earlier as we moved down about the effective jab, and it's been effective from Ken Norton. 5, 4, 3. This is the end of round 10. We're about ready. They come to the center of the ring. The referee, Frank Ruster, says, touch gloves, fellows, and let's make it a good one. Finish it off.
And it was, to all of us in the corner, the longest 48 minutes we'd ever seen in a fight, because we were well aware of the pain that Ali was suffering. And now, those are tremendous punches to the kidney.
Oh, a tremendous fight. Trying to end it all right there with one swing, Ken Norton.
The leverage that Ken Norton has in those punches is like he's punching a static punching bag in camp. He is not letting go with one little bit of energy. He's letting everything go with every punch. He knows he's 51 seconds away from upsetting Muhammad Ali. And he is not stopping. He's not being cautious. He's fighting with everything he's got. He wants a knockout.
He's got 11,000 on their feet. They are hysterical.
Ali trying to come back, but not being able to do anything to Norton. Norton looks as fresh as he did in the first round.
Ali trying an uppercut, takes a great right hand to left, and Norton backs him into a neutral corner and pounds away at the ex-champion.
20 seconds left, and Ali is battling for his life. He's battling to keep himself from getting knocked out. He's not even battling to win. He's just battling to stay in there till the bell.
Well, it's less than 10 seconds. There will not be a knockdown. Ali scores with a great right, but it's too late, folks. As this fight is about to come to an end, Ken Norton still after the ex-champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Frank Rustage. 7 points Norton, 5 points Ali.
Norton wins. Norton wins the fight. Look at Norton jumping up and down. He is ecstatic as well he should be. And there's a grief-stricken face of Boudini Brown.
Norton won it fairly clearly.
Norton won it, I thought, fairly, as you say, fairly clearly. They then had to fight twice after that, and again, Ali had to fight for his life there.
He always had trouble with Norton.
He did.
It was a style that
the
puzzled
second
him.
one I was at in Los Angeles, and that was fairly close, although Ali, I thought, just won it. But the one in New York was different. I thought Norton actually won.
So did I. So did I.
Yeah, we were sitting almost together, that's why. But anyway, I mean, the trouble he had with the operation afterwards, Harry.
Well, he had a 90-minute operation on it. It was a very serious break. I mean, I'm not talking about a little injury. He had a massive injury. There was a quarter-inch separation in the bone. I mean, that's the sort of thing it was. Angelo, I think, at one point wanted to stop it. And Ali typically said to him, "Don't stop it," he said. "I can beat this sucker. He ain't going to touch my jaw."
I mean, isn't that remarkable, man? I keep on saying it, you know, we all know what a great fighter he was, but that's when you really know he's a great fighter. A broken jaw, fighting, you know, to the wire like that is just incredible.
It's not a question that can ever really be answered, but whenever sports writers debate the question, who was the greatest ever heavyweight champion, the name of Joe Louis is invariably bandied about. He won the title in 1937, and he retired undefeated champion 12 years later. But his first defence was a really tough one against a Welshman called Tommy Farr. Now, nobody in America knew anything about Tommy Farr whatsoever. And amazingly enough, nobody in the Joe Louis camp, not even the champion, had ever seen Tommy fight. They didn't know what they were taking on. So in hindsight, Reg, it's a bit strange that he actually made his first defence against a man who was going to be such tough opposition.
Yes, and Tommy Farr pulled out of a possible fight with Max Schmeling to go there, you know, which was a good idea. But Tommy was on a winning run anyway. He'd beaten Ben Ford, the South African, Maxie Baer, the American, and Walter Neusel, the German. But you see, the American pressmen, I mean, they were really tough on him. They said, surely Temple's got more chance of winning this.
Well, for Tommy, obviously, it was the biggest day of his life. It was certainly the biggest payday of his life. He got $60,000 for this, and that in those days, 1937, was £15,000. I mean, Tommy had never, ever earned money like that. Anyway, he appeared in front of 37,000 people at New York's Yankee Stadium, and by word, he earned every cent of it.
Yeah, I think he's already aggravating the American press by doing so well early on in the fight like this. He really taken the best shots, and he's willing to fight back all the time.
If you were sitting there watching this, you'd be in two minds. Who's going to win? You wouldn't be too sure, would you? Would the clever sort of counter-punching of Farr beat the quick strike of Joe Louis? You wouldn't know.
To be fair to the American audience, when he's done well in any part of the fight here, the crowd are on his side all of a sudden, Tommy Farr.
Well, I think that was because they've been led to believe it was nothing, and suddenly they saw that he, in fact, was a very competent fighter. So he's pushing Joe back there. He's strong. Actually, he was 10 pounds heavier in this fight than Joe Louis.
That surprised me. I've forgotten that. I thought they were virtually the same weight. Well, round 7. That's the punch he'd hurt you with. He jabbed first there, Joe Louis, and then he turned that lead into a hook.
For the first time, Joe Louis in this fight is just beginning to get a little bit aggressive. He's coming forward now. He wants to get on with it.
It's all about heart with Farr, though. He'll come bouncing back all the time. It's amazing.
This is the worst he's had so far, Tommy.
Oh dear, yes, this is a bad round. They're the famous combinations, as they now call them. Coming in, little salvos he could use, beautifully delivered.
You see, with a lot of opponents, these sort of attacks Louis is setting up, he'd have got rid of opponents. You know, they'd have been on the floor by now. But Tommy takes it so well.
So it's all this exchange of left hands, and it trying to out-jab each other. It's a bit of a boxing chess match in some way, isn't it?
Yeah, can you imagine Farr saying to himself, my God, that's 7 rounds, I've still got 8 to go against the greatest fighter in the world. It's a pretty savage set of punches.
Oh, the uppercut at the finish. He did so well to get over the round, Tommy Farr. Well, I love that when he comes. I mean, Ali used to do that, of course, but Farr hitched his shorts up as he left the corner there and then stood in the middle of the ring. I mean, but to say, OK, mate, you thought this was going to be easy and I'm still here. Let's get it on, as the man now says. But I love that. I mean, to come out to the 15th, not saying to himself, oh, well, I've survived this far. You know, he's not going to do that. He's going to have a go in the last round.
He's had a good 14th round, Tommy, and now he's going forward and grandstanding it. You know, good finish. Terrific.
Are you getting a plug in there by any chance? It's all craft boxing, really, isn't it? That's the point. It's not a hit and hope fight.
Well, these are 15 of the most significant rounds in British boxing history. It was, what, 27 years since Britain had a challenger for the heavyweight title. Jack Palmer, in 1908, I think it was, fought Tommy Burns in London, and that was the last time.
And Joe Lewis was the first black heavyweight champion since Jack Johnson.
Of course, they didn't want it.
No,
but he changed everybody's conception.
Oh, absolutely. He did more for the black race than anybody.
What a finish that is.
Yeah, wonderful.
Now, look, Tommy thinks he's... In fact, the referee's almost given him the impression he's won. He's lifted his hand.
I thought he may have got on the referee's hand.
Did he, surely?
No, I doubt that. But he looked as though he wanted to shake hands, but I've never seen a referee shake hands with the loser.
They actually thought they'd won the far corner for a moment, but not to be.
The winner and still champion, Lewis.
Now just listen to that. Quite a lot of booing from the audience at Yankee Stadium, New York. They appreciated what Farr had done. It was a unanimous decision for Lewis. The two judges, I think, got it about right, Reg. They gave it to Lewis by 3 rounds, but the referee, Arthur Donovan, who incidentally was the promoter Mike Jacobs' house referee, he gave it 13 rounds to Lewis, 1 even, and just 1 to Tommy Farr.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's just outrageous, wasn't it? And I see now why a lot of the Welsh people say Tommy was jobbed out of that when they see that scoring like that. Of course, there was a chance of a return fight. It didn't happen because Tommy slipped a bit after that and lost to Maxie Bear and Lou Nova and Red Berman, I think. And then he joined us in the Hacks rank.
Yep.
And went round the world and wrote quite well and was always very humorous. And he often said, "Don't mention Joe Louis, boy," he said, "makes my nose bleed."
Well, at 4 o'clock in the morning, when people had heard that commentary and that result, all those Welsh people at Tonopandi, Tommy's hometown, they sang in the streets, "Land of my fathers." Joe Louis, well, that was just the first of 25 successful defences of the world title that he made. He went on and retired in 1949 as the undefeated heavyweight champion.
Now a chance to see some of the greatest middleweights in the world: Tony Zale, Rocky Graziano, Marcel Cerdan. And we're going to see the last of 3 wars between Zale and Graziano. Harry, they were all great fights.
They were that, but you've got 2 really tough guys here. Zale, real name Zalewski, Polish extraction, came from Gary, Indiana, which is a steel city, and he was always known throughout his career as the man of steel, partly because of that, but partly because he was tough, and he was very durable indeed. And Graziano, his real name was Barbella, Italian extraction, came from the Lower East Side of New York, slum kid, and a wild kid. He served in the army, but he had a dishonourable discharge for going absent without leave. So another tough boy. So this is their 3rd fight, and everybody's waiting to see exactly what's going to happen.
Oh, right. Went from his chin to his legs, that one, didn't it? He's lost control of it.
Oh, he's gone.
Now, will he recover from this? I don't believe it, because it's such a
look at his
finish.
legs. The legs are rubber.
Oh, look at it. His heart, though, trying to fight back there. He's getting taken to pieces there. Look at this coming back. Oh, that was again. Oh, he couldn't
hook again.
You can't see that one coming. It's very hard to block. Those flashlights in his gun. No, is he going to let him go on? I don't believe this. The referee's like, oh dear.
That wouldn't happen. Used to be. No. Give the champ every chance. That's what they say.
Oh yeah, it is a championship fight. That's a load of rubbish. Oh dear, he doesn't know what town he's in now.
So that should never have been allowed to happen like this.
No, absolutely not. Wouldn't happen today, Harry, I'm sure of that.
Oh, they just stopped it.
If it did, the referee wouldn't work again. Well, if that's not the formality of a count, I mean, he could have taken out anything there, couldn't he? Let's have a look in slow motion. He'd taken out the gun shoot. Oh,
he did put some damaging punches.
Accurate. Well, that was some breathtaker there, wasn't it? Ring magazine at the time called it the knockout of the year, almost the century, don't you think?
Right.
So what happened to Graziano
Well,
after that?
he never again was champion. He went on until 1952, another 4 years. One of his last fights was for the title against the great Sugar Ray Robinson, but he got stopped in 3 rounds, and then became a very, very popular actor. He worked in early television series like The Martha Raye Show. A book was written about him, Somebody Out There Likes Me, and that was made into a film, and Paul Newman played him. I mean, Graziano was a real star in every way. He was a great mate of Jake LaMotta, you know, Raging Bull, and the story goes that one night they were out on the town and got, you know, thank you very much, and they wound up lying on their backs on the pavement as the sun came up. And LaMotta turned to Graziano on the floor. He said, up there, he said, is that the sun or the moon? And Rocky said, I don't know, I don't come from this neighborhood.
Yeah, well, you couldn't write that. You couldn't make that up, could you? That's the problem with that. So, Tony Zal, still world champion. And coming up next was Marcel Cerdan. Harry, this fella could fight. I'd seen him a couple of times anyway.
Another tough cookie. Actually born in Algeria, Algiers, and had done most of his fighting in the early days. He had a lot of fights before the war, and then fought all through the war, mostly in North Africa, places like Casablanca, Oran, those sort of places. He was also another claim to fame. He was the boyfriend of the famous French songstress Edith Piaf, the Little Sparrow.
Marcel is seen here arriving in the United States for the official signing with middleweight champion Tony Zal.
Anyway, he came into this fight as the European champion, and Mr. Zal was about to find out that he was some opposition.
So coming up to the 11th then.
Comes out fast enough, Zal, but it's very noticeable. As the round goes on, he gets slower and slower.
Yeah, I mean, not what you call noticeably in the sense that he's reeling in any way. But he's fighting from guts now and from memory in many ways.
Apart from Robinson, I think Zal is as good as any of them.
I do too.
We mustn't forget Monsieur Cerdan, because he's dominating this.
Oh yeah, he might be worrying about a hometowner going to Zal, but I very much doubt it. I think he knows, and I suspect that Zal knows. Oh dear, I mean, he took that punch well for a guy that was failing.
5 punches for everyone that Zal throws.
Yeah. I wonder how he stands up again from those. I mean, as the fight goes on, he's getting definitely battle weary.
That's attrition, isn't it? He's just wearing him down remorselessly. And there's nothing Zal can do about it. 10 years ago he might have done it, but he's 35.
So much courage here, isn't it? It really is. Oh dear.
Gone.
Oh, right on the end there. This referee's walked away. Can you believe that? Now that wouldn't be allowed today, by the way, to haul them back to the corner.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's have a look at this in replay. Oh, took one in there. That double.
Trout, so you know where to go.
Just
Step down.
Doesn't know where he is there. Look.
That referee doesn't know what to do, does he?
It's almost humiliating, isn't it, for Zal? So, well, quite rightly, and I'm pleased to see that.
They didn't send him out.
They quit on the stool.
Quite right, too.
I think sensible surrender is a better word, really, there. I mean, what a great fight.
Attention, please. Tony Zal, unable to come out for the 12th round. The winner in the 12th round, and new middleweight champion of the world, Marcel Cerdan.
They called it the fight of the decade, even though only 6 months of the decade had gone by. But the PR boys didn't have to work too hard to hype up the 1980 World Welterweight clash between Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran. The decade was actually 6 months old. We're in June 1980. But Reggie, this was a fight everybody wanted to see.
Yeah, you couldn't have overplayed it, really. You couldn't have made it up. I mean, you've got the all-American hero who'd won the gold medal in Montreal, where this fight was going to take place. You know, full of endorsements, unbeaten, had everything you would look for in a boxer. Personality, the whole bit, you know. And then you had the contrast with this rough kid out of Panama who once hit a horse was asked could he knock a horse out and managed to do so.
Okay, let's settle back then for this battle between America's Golden Boy and the man with the hands of stone, the Panamanian street fighter. First round, they just sized each other up, so let's go straight to round 2.
And Duran is feinting a couple of shots, and Leonard's just moving. He's like a little nervous. He sees the punches coming. He's flinching.
Leonard a little bit slow, settling into a rhythm, and he's hurt by that shot by Duran. Good right hand by Roberto Duran, and Leonard was also off balance.
Shaking his head no, but that always means yes, it did hurt. Now you see if Duran can swarm and come on like he used to do as a lightweight.
Leonard in some early trouble here, and Duran trying to steal one.
Now Leonard sat back on his legs. He let Duran come to him, didn't throw any punches, and Duran opened up again. And here's the experience of Duran. He's tying up Leonard and still hitting him. You see Leonard hold him. He's still whacking Leonard.
And this frenzied crowd standing up after Duran landed that right hand. Now they start to settle down. They thought they were going to see the end of the fight. And Leonard indeed looked hurt.
Oh, he was hurt, all right. He just didn't respond. You can tell if a fighter's hurt when he doesn't respond after getting nailed. And still, Leonard is not flicking that jab. Very tentative jab.
Leonard trying to pound it out underneath. Leonard using his head in there. Duran with a grazing right hand. That was similar to the one that hurt Leonard, but it missed. And now Leonard with some wild shots.
That's not Leonard. Leonard is short punches, not wide ones.
So Duran got to Leonard in round number 2, and this one is heating up.
Duran just misses with the left jab, misses with the right, but a beautiful left hook right on the button. Look at legs, look at the legs of Leonard. Totally out of control because Duran did hurt him.
We're into round 13 now. No sign of this fight slacking off.
Here's Duran coming on Leonard with a nice left hook as we go 30 seconds into round 13, and Leonard comes right back. Inside on Duran, not getting much done though.
This amazes me. I've never seen Leonard in all his 28 fights up to this one be so inactive when he has the range on Duran. Not flicking that left. I mean, he's flicking it instead of popping it. No 1-2s, not doubling up. Have we seen him double up on the left jab tonight?
We have not been seeing the doubling up. And how about the blazing combinations we've seen of Leonard, the multi-punch series he's been able to get together. Not with Duran, and a big hook. Duran continues to rough Leonard up and showing his experience of all these fights.
I think Duran's starting to get a second wind, and what a time to get it in round 13.
Today,
he's starting to pick up the pace a little bit.
He is really
Roberto
nailing
Duran
Leonard
did
with
ask
some
me
of
to
these shots.
cut out a few bits.
The left
Hope
hook,
it's
a
not too
couple of right
noticeable, but it
hands.
is on the channel.
And while Leonard is trying to
So
creep his
if
way
you
back
want to see
into
the
this
trilogy
fight,
between these
round
two,
13
then
has been a
it's on
very
the
good
channel.
one
Thanks for watching.
for Duran.
Duran just throwing all kind of punches, and they're all landing.
Leonard slugging inside with Duran. Duran happy for the trade-off.
This is like early Duran the first couple of rounds. He's putting the pressure and throwing a lot of punches. Leonard just taking them.
These are the championship rounds, and in this one, round 13, it has been Roberto Duran showing his pedigree as Leonard tries to rally. It's a furious fight. Leonard has closed the gap after those first 5 rounds. He has fought evenly in the second 2 segments of the fight, but the early start that Duran got is really serving him now. They tie up. Duran has done a masterful job, Tony, at not letting Leonard get to him after Duran misses.
No, just stays in front, knows how to tie him up. It's the old veteran, remember, 73 fights. He knows what he's doing in there. He took the kid to school.
Duran with all types of subtle movements, and look at Leonard missing all these shots. A perfect illustration of Leonard's difficulties in this fight. All showed out in those last few seconds.
You said many rounds ago, we take for granted what a good defensive fighter Duran is, and he demonstrated it right there. Leonard threw a flurry and not one landed.
Just beautiful defensive work from the hands of Stone.
And you know what? I think that defensive flurry wins the round for him because it's something you don't see. You don't see many fighters with good defense, and there they are just flurrying, and Duran can roll with the punches.
So Leonard comes on with a flurry of his own. Duran sticks out his chin. He thinks he's gotten under Leonard's skin here. Duran believes he's got it, otherwise he wouldn't have stuck out the chin.
Not at all.
As this fight ends.
I wouldn't shake his hand either.
Roberto Duran is very happy getting at Leonard, pounding the chest. He's showing more emotion now than he did during the fight.
He sure did. Like, I won the fight, nobody else.
I got you. He seems to be saying, I got you.
Want to translate to you?
My shorts are too high.
Exactly.
Reg, what scenes there were there. I think, looking at those pictures again, I think Leonard knew he'd lost, even though the judges' scoring was pretty close, but I think he knew.
Yeah, the judges had it a lot closer than the commentators, didn't they? And I agree. Londoner Harry Gibbs made it 1 point. Believe it or not, at ringside, I made it about the same 1 point. I thought he just won it. And the crowd all knew then that Duran was going to get the decision, and looking back, I'm glad he did.
I just felt all the way through that Duran never allowed Leonard to fight his sort of fight.
No, he didn't, but I liked the way Leonard always came back. The thing with Duran was that he was better defensive than we generally gave him credit for. He was not the easiest fighter in the world to hit. He always looked like he was as a brawler, and that was proven later on in his career.
And now, let's get ready to rumble!
Sometimes a fight grabs the attention of a nation, but here's one that grabbed the attention of the whole planet. Zaire, 1974, heavyweight champion George Foreman defends against Muhammad Ali.
Everybody thought Foreman would win. He'd recently won the title from
and unbeaten
from Frazier, and took Frazier off his feet with one punch. I remember it in Kingston, Jamaica. And really, I mean, Ali was 32, and I can't remember meeting anybody who thought he had a real chance.
Oh, what a combination landed by Ali to the face of George Foreman. Round 3 just underway. Very even fight. I would have to score round 2 slightly in favor of Muhammad Ali. There's the left flicking in the face of George Foreman. George Foreman backing Ali to the rope. There's the vicious left hook to the body. Misses the left again, the right to the body. Thrown by George Foreman. Ali is getting away with hanging on to the head of Foreman. Foreman will push and try to set up his punch. Watch him push. There's the right hand. When he pushes, he tries to do it off of that. That's his secret. Continues to work downstairs on Muhammad Ali. Foreman setting him up against the rope. What a vicious, fast combination by Ali. Ali definitely showing the hand speed in this fight. There's the chant. Ali Boumbaye. That means Ali, kill him in the sporting sense of course. But that punch did no damage again. Ticketed to the head of Muhammad Ali. But that punch did. Look at him whispering in the ear of Foreman. Why he continues to taunt him. Ali super confident. Foreman looks unusually slow with his hands. But look at this. All of a sudden he opens up. 4 punches downstairs on Ali. Ali, of course, has protection around that area he was being hit by. Ali showing the ability to punch inside against George Foreman. Now the fighters move across the ring. A right hand lead by Foreman this time. Another right hand. A good right hand taken on the left side of the cheek, on the jaw of Muhammad Ali. That was the best punch so far
far for George Foreman. I don't know if you saw it, but it did spin the head around of Muhammad Ali. I have to say the heaviest punch so far was definitely landed by Foreman in that exchange. Ali trying to hang on. Might have been just stunned by that blow. Vicious right hand goes whistling by the nose of Ali. Ali continues to talk to George Foreman. Continues to talk, continues to taunt. 30 seconds left in round number 3. Foreman looking for his opening to unload that left hand underneath the heart of Ali and drop the right. There he goes to the right, but it just didn't land that time. Very even fight. 10 seconds left now in round 3. Ali showing his combination. The hand speed, left, left combination to the head of Foreman. Foreman again takes the right hand, right on the left side of the head. The bell ends round 3.
Good time now to think about this rope-a-dope thing, Harry, and maybe explode a little myth. In fact, they didn't want those ropes as slack as that, although he had practiced a bit in training and did that. And Angelo Dundee, I was only just away from the corner, kept yelling out, "I want these ropes tightened," because it was worrying him that he might get caught in there too much, as we're watching this replay here. And he does soak up a lot of body punishment, Ali, unnecessarily, I thought. No, we'll see what goes on now. Over to round 8.
At age 32, Muhammad Ali is bouncing around pretty good for the 24-year-old Foreman, hanging pretty tough in there. Again, I caution you to look for the one punch that George Foreman can deliver at any time. This man is devastating, to say the least. These punches are not at this particular time. Try to pull a sneaky right hand on Ali. Ali hanging on, getting away with it. Getting away with it. The left hand taken on the side of Ali's cheek. The left hook again on the side of the glove. Right hand by Foreman was not effective. The right uppercut did bounce the head a little bit. Punches will not hurt Ali. Ali just takes him, protecting his face at all times, does Ali. Foreman throwing more punches now. Maybe this could be the tactic of Ali to let the man punch himself out. 30 seconds left in round 8. Very even fight. Ali, a sneaky right hand. Another sneaky right hand. This time he works over the shoulder of Foreman. It's the combination. 3, 4, 5, 6. Foreman gets up to the knee. 8. That's it. The fight is stopped. Muhammad Ali, a dramatic 8th-round knockout.
Well, I tell you, Harry, that's some night when, in fact, dawn was coming up and a monsoon would arrive just to celebrate the new champion. He said he'd do it, and he did it in style as usual. He'd rehearsed a few of those right-hand punches during the fight, but then he looked a bit tired. But, I mean, you can't question his own strategy. He can make it up as he goes along. I think he always knew he was going to throw that punch at some time, and he still had plenty of time to do it, actually.
Well, we were almost a quarter of a century on from that, and I still find it just as incredible now watching it as I did then. I remember saying in the commentary when George set up that big barrage of punches and Ali's on the ropes, I remember saying Ali's very tired, the arms are coming down, and I honestly thought he was about to be beaten. And then he does that little turn, clips him, and knows instantly he's got George, and a few more punches, it's all, my God, he's got the title back at 32. They were my actual words on the commentary. I was amazed.
I told you, I'm the real champion. I told you, I'm the champion of the world.
Early in the century, a world heavyweight title fight took place that pitched black against white. It was 1910, the era of the great white hopes. White America had coaxed the old champion, James J. Jeffries, out of retirement in the hope that he might see off the brash, black and younger champion, Jack Johnson. This fight was all about the threat to white supremacy. And Reg, the challenger, didn't even want to fight.
No, Jim Jeffries hadn't boxed for 6 years. I mean, it's just amazing that he could come back and create this massive interest. And the money wasn't bad either, was it? $101,000, split 2/3, 1/3, and 10 grand up front. I mean, relate that to
That's
today.
millions today.
Absolutely.
John Arthur Johnson, 32 years old. Born in Galveston, Texas, very scrawny, lanky kid apparently, and used to be bullied a lot at school, and his mother once said she called him a rank coward. He never tried to get into a fight with his schoolmates. A strange thing to say about a man who became the heavyweight champion of the world. At the last minute, the fight was moved to Reno, Nevada, after it had been thrown out of San Francisco by the governor of California, who thought Johnson was a threat to social and racial order. The Johnson-Jeffries fight had obviously become a symbol of America's increasing racial problems. The simple equation was black versus white. The fight started quite slowly, but it soon became apparent that Jeffries wasn't going to be able to cope with Johnson's skill and his punch. This is the old rules, fight for a finish.
Absolutely, until the man drops, the last one out.
Oh, here we go.
It looks as though he's done it is that the only count of his career?
That's the first time he's ever been on the canvas.
The way he's walking away, there's no good standing in the neutral corners. I mean, he's been quite gentlemanly there in a way, Johnson.
He's not even counting, Rick. He's not even lifting his arm.
Nothing.
He's out again.
And now the second wants to say, I think that's enough.
Look,
he doesn't know what to do. Just amazing.
This is farce, isn't it?
Oh, ridiculous. The cameraman are in the corner and they're going to go on with the fight. This is a bit of...
Rickard doesn't know where he is, does he? Rick?
No. Oh, unbelievable when he took unnecessary beating. It was quite disgraceful refereeing. And look, he's going to let them go on again. No, he's changed his mind. And now the corner's saying it's about time too. We'll pull him out here. Quite right.
I don't know whether they want their man to go on or they want to pull him out. Oh, they're going to pull him out.
No, they've got to pull him out now. Well, that's an absolute farce at the end of it, isn't it? The old boy was ready to go to work there, Johnson, though, wasn't he?
So there it was. Jeffries pulled out of the fight in the 15th round in scenes which really looked like something out of a Charlie Chaplin comedy. Unbelievable, wasn't it?
Absolute shambles. And then that was the end of Jeffries. He went back to his alfalfa farm and became a very morose figure, whereas Johnson went on to create mayhem in all kinds of things, didn't he, across the world.
But
and the riots.
Well, the fact that he won, the black man had triumphed again. I mean, that did cause a lot of trouble. Race riots, brawls which led to lynching parties. I mean, it was disgraceful. Do you know the fight film was banned? The film of that fight, because Johnson won it, was banned in a lot of American cities. Meanwhile, they were showing a terrible propaganda film called The Klansman, which was boosting the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, that's the sort of atmosphere there was in those days.
Well, as Don King would say, only in America. You know, I mean, it's quite frightening to look back like that.
It is.
I'm glad that all that's gone now, anyway.
Hasn't got in America.
Marvin Hagler dominated the middleweights during the 80s. In 1987, he was unbeaten in 11 years. So when they made the match with Sugar Ray Leonard, we thought Leonard might be, well, just a bit crazy. He'd only had one fight in 5 years. Football's not the only funny old game.
It was the richest ever fight at the time at any weight. Quite extraordinary. And the interest in it was worldwide. I mean, billions of people wanted to watch this fight. Leonard actually said if he won, you mentioned various retirements, he said if he won this one, he would again retire and hand the belt back. Hagler badly wanted to win it because this was his 13th defence of the middleweight title, and he was chasing that old record of Carlos Monzon's, who had 14 successful defences. So the build-up was tremendous.
I gave both of you your instructions in your dressing room. I want to caution you again. Obey my commands at all times. Shake hands and good luck.
Good. He speaks with a forked tongue. Didn't have the guts to do it.
Your old friend Angelo. Well, I'm just as glad that there was nothing of that kind. This has been a very professional presentation from the very beginning since it was signed. The fighters have acted in very professional style. Let's see what happens now. Round number 5.
Looks like Leonard is starting to find the range more with his right hand. There it is again.
Leonard tried to make him pay, but Hagler got himself in a defensive position.
Ray told me that in the Mugabe fight, Hagler turned completely around when he missed, but Mugabe didn't make him pay. He said, I'm going to make him pay. And you see how he jumped on him then? Now Hagler's back to orthodox. He just doesn't know what to do. If I were him, I'd stay southpaw. His best bet. Now he's southpaw.
Took by Leonard.
Hagler's starting to get the range a little bit now, though, Tim.
Finally got him in the corner, landed a left.
Tim Hagler just was starting to get the range.
The conditioning of these two athletes is extraordinary.
Hagler's
solid right by Hagler.
He's starting to get the range, Tim. You can just see it.
That one forced Leonard to grab him. No question, Gil. Leonard stopped on the ropes for the first time in the fight.
And hit a couple of good body punches. Now he's punching back, but Hagler, Tim, he doesn't belong in there.
Into the round.
Well, this is the first swing in the fight. Suddenly Hagler's getting into it. He's gone to southpaw, which I think is better for him. And part of the reason he's doing better is that Sugar Ray has come down off his toes a bit and he's not moving around this ring nearly as fast. And so Hagler now beginning to get at him and had a good second half of this round. And it's the first time he's really done some good work.
Round 11.
Tim, I think Marvin is going to have to win these 2 rounds to retain his title, and he's going to have to land some big punches.
Solid body shot. Hagler, and Leonard escapes off the rope. He lands a combination.
And moves away. You know, you mentioned that Leonard was tired. Hagler's not fresh as a daisy either, you know. He doesn't have too much left. Damn it.
Hagler moving his hands without a lot of authority, but scoring some punches. The showboat again from Leonard.
Well, we have to call him the Miracle Man after this, Tim.
Well, you're not kidding.
Anybody can have that layoff, do what he's doing tonight. He's a Miracle Man. Never been done in boxing history. Never. Whether he wins or loses. And right now, he's winning, in my opinion.
Hagler missing wide open target as Leonard just leaned back away from the punches.
Beautiful move by Leonard. Tim, he has Hagler tamed now, Tim. Hagler can't let that left hand go, Tim. He should be throwing that left hand down the pipe, just to the pin. But that's what he should be doing all along.
Leonard has played with Hagler's mind throughout the fight, and by being fresh enough here in this 11th round as he looks to his corner at the end of the round. Leonard coming back slowly to his corner, but the little flurries that he fought in were enough to win the round the way we saw it.
I think so. Eye-catching punches. He's tired. He's trying to win the round by flurry.
And now a psyched up Ray Leonard is on his feet. But Leonard on our scorecard won the first 4 rounds. He was so sure he could do that. And he was so sure that most of us who picked Hagler would be wrong. They beckon each other out. Does Hagler feel that it all comes down to this 3 minutes?
Oh, good straight left hand by Hagler.
And look at Leonard just able to pick up the punches, move his head, and escape most of them. And Leonard flurries against Hagler, and now escapes from the corner. Ray Leonard is having fun in there right now. What a story.
He's looking at the corner. I don't know why. Well, Tim, we have to call him the Miracle Man of boxing. He doesn't need any help from the corner.
He sure doesn't. Not what he's accomplished to this point.
Well, Tim, he's giving this round away, though. Sugar Ray, you know who the fans think are winning the fight.
Less than a minute to go in the fight. Now Hagler with a little showboat. Some shuffle back from Ray.
Look at Ray Leonard. What a cocky kid.
Well, this 30-year-old cocky kid, perhaps fainting weariness as he has a few times earlier in the bout, but also showing that psychologically and physically now he's in control.
Going to be interesting scoring, Tim. You know, do you like the plodding guy or do you like the flash?
Leonard busy on the rope. Hagler trying
There'll
to
be no knockout. No knockout.
Leonard in the corner at the end of this fight, but on his feet.
The winner by a split decision and new middleweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Leonard.
And Leonard, of course, went on and, well, he retired and then came back yet again. I don't know how many comebacks he made. It was an awful lot. And actually, he won 2 more titles at 2 different weights. He became the first man in history to win world titles at 5 different weights. Amazing chap. Finally, the toughest fight I ever saw. It's the amazing Thriller in Manila, the 1975 war, and I do mean war, between the world champion Muhammad Ali and his old nemesis, Smoking Joe Frazier.
It was the most unusual fight I've ever seen and turned out probably the hardest in many ways. They were then presumably millionaires anyway. There were a couple of old gladiators who wanted to get it on for the 3rd time, and yet there wasn't that big a money compared.
No, it's pretty big, but compared with some of the purses that had gone before,
just
Ali
amazing.
actually got 4 million and 43% of all royalties, and Frazier fought for $2 million. It was scheduled for 15 rounds, and after 10, one judge and the referee had it even, and the other judge had Ali narrowly ahead. Let's join it in round 11.
Round 11, 5 to go. Gone around.
Well, Harry's always had problems in the fight, Frazier. Now he's really got problems. His left eye's closing. The side in his right eye, he's got problems with that as well, which he's had before. And he's got to get right on top of Ali with a good chance of winning. It's still not that much in it, really, because Ali hasn't done any infighting at all. He never has done. I mean, he's a hell of a technician, being a star as well, but he's never had to go in close. But what a great fight this is.
Well, what amazes me about it is the sheer severity of it, which struck me at the time. I mean, they're going at a pace, they've been going at this pace now for 11 rounds. It's non-stop. There's plenty of good punches being thrown. And Frazier, as you said, has got this problem. He's that much shorter, that much less reach, has to get in close, and every time he tries to get in close, he gets popped off by these lefts and rights. Anyway, it's a very, very hard fight.
Ali slips. Ali holding.
10 seconds.
Frazier looked awful tired, is puffed around both eyes now. Ken Norton.
John, for the first time, Frazier sustained a small cut under his right eye.
And he's very puffy under those eyes.
Very puffy.
Lost his mouthpiece again. I didn't see it come out.
As long as the cut is under the eye, it shouldn't be too bad for him because the blood cannot run into the eye. I got 841.
Ali has gone out for a knockout, I think, in this round. Whether he gets it or not is something else. Frazier doesn't have the firepower that he had in the middle rounds. Frazier's badly hurt. The biggest round of the fight for anybody. Frazier was within a punch or two of going down. The doctor comes up and looks at Frazier. I think it's going to be over. It's all over.
Reggie, I don't know how he managed to grin at that point. I had to get in the ring after the fight was over to do an interview with Ali, and I saw him collapse. I mean, he literally collapsed. I'm telling you, he was almost as sold out as Frazier clearly was.
There was a great courage performance by Frazier there, and a sensible, compassionate act by Eddie Futch, his trainer. He'd stopped it before the doctor had a good chance to look at it. And it became Bull and the Matador at the finish, didn't it? You know, it always was, but he was shipping a lot of punishment. There was one incident in the fight that I still always remember. I could actually touch the bottom rope, you know, in my position, luckily. And they fell against the ropes, and Ali was sort of using them catapult style, really, and throwing a right-hand punch, which landed right on the point of the jaw. And I could clearly hear, and he didn't go down, Frazier, just shook his boots a bit. And I could clearly hear Ali say, "Shoot, Joe, they told me you were through." And Joe just ripped that gum shield and quickly said, "They lied to you." And I felt like he wanted to go up. These millionaire gladiators were killing one another. And then when the fight was over and you did your bit, and I was going out, a Filipino was chasing me all the way up the aisle back to the dressing room area, trying to buy my shirt, which happened to have some Frazier's blood on it. And he wanted, "Name your price," he kept saying, "name your price." And I wouldn't have it.
You didn't sell it?
No, I didn't sell it. I took it home and my wife went, "Ugh, what is this?" when I got home. So
Slam it away.
I made a mistake there, yeah.
I tell you what, it's the hardest fight. I still think this. It's the hardest fight
It's been worth
I've ever
doing
seen
that.
in my life. I wish it hadn't been quite as hard because I don't think it did either man a lot of good. And I felt, not at that time, but since, I have felt that both of them should have retired at that point, and of course neither did.
That would have been a perfect ending to their careers, really.
Well, that was their third and their final fight. They were all wars. I think that last one they actually beat respect into each other. Ali told the press afterwards that Joe's the toughest man he'd ever met. It was high time they stopped beating up on each other. I think he was absolutely right. We've come to the end of Reg and Harry's classic fight night. Have you enjoyed it?
Very much so, and I'm looking forward to seeing it all over again at home, alone.
With them indoors?
With them indoors, and without you.
Oh, so be it. It's goodbye from him.
And a goodbye from him.
And until the next time, it's goodbye from us.
And it's good night from Fight Night TV on YouTube. So thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. Plenty more to come, and I'll speak to you all soon. Press the like and subscribe and hit the bell button and leave a comment. Cheers.